Okay, dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is gonna be about a topic that most people have been concerned with since the beginning of this year, and that is the arena system in 7 Nights. So they recently reverted the system, the speed system and skill priority system of arena for almost a week already. And as you can see here, the win rate has scaled insanely compared to what we had. I think last week the champion at most probably only had like 7,000, okay, 12,000, okay, 12,000 score. And that is with a 50-50 win rate, right? And today I'm making this video as of Wednesday, which means there's still 2.5 days more to before the arena calculations. The champion is already at 24,000 points, okay? So I just want to start the video off with a summary of what exactly has led to this point, in case many newer players don't really know what's happening, don't really know why this is a thing. Let me just go through the history of this entire arena system debate, okay? So as you can see here, this was the first news that was uploaded in February about the arena system changes. If you can see here, this is where Dev Kagura actually made the announcement that there will be two major changes. The first was the ban rule, which is obviously not happening anymore. And then the second one is this. When you and your enemy have the same speed attack, the preemptive attack and skill use priority will now be assigned randomly, and this is actually to curb the win rate, because this says that the win rate in the top ranked knights in arena is quite high, with winning rates over 90%, to which I will show you evidence of that later on, okay? When the winning rate is too high, the arena may turn into a place where you compete by using more rubies, which is exactly the case that is happening right now, to get higher scores rather than to compete with using your strategies. We think that this has made arena a point of stress that forces competitive knights to play non-stop. Therefore, we decided to change the preemptive attack and skills priority assignment to random when you and your enemy have the same speed. So when this was announced, okay, there were many negative feedback about this system. It happened on the 4th February update, which is where Grid was released. I just want you to keep in mind that 2 weeks before this update, we had Chris's remake as well as Scout's remake. Okay, Chris's remake, just keep that in mind. That is a very important key to the whole thing. So Grid came out, and we also had the speed changes in the same update. Not only that, we also got limited traits in that same update, okay? So this is actually the first time that we have limited traits under the condition that we have speed and skill priority. Okay, that is one thing. All these are limited traits, and also actually nothing much. Okay, limited traits in this update, but you cannot forget, okay, that when this update happened, many people didn't have Yonji and Dilo fully built out at that point, because it was only 2 weeks since they awakened, okay? So they awakened in the end of January with Chris's remake. So from this point on, in the random speed and random skill priority meta, I would say system, we also had a lot of prime heroes that came out, very strong ones, and very strong special heroes as well, such as Abel, and of course we have Anti, Jack, and a lot of other primes that came out that actually, especially like Gideon as well, that came into the meta and changed things. And one of the biggest things that happened during this period was stamps. You know how insane stamps came into play, where Rudy actually made it back into the top tier meta, whereby people started to use his chance, people started to make use of his skill priority, basically, because he has a shield skill that reduces buff duration. So with the stamps, you get a 3-turn buff duration reduction straight off the bat. People started to use that in their teams and craft teams based on that. Dev teams still existed, but not as much as what we have seen over the past week, right? So that aside, okay, I just want to go back to the history again. So many people at that point were very confused with the update because they don't understand what is happening. right? And if you were to look at the comments, many people just didn't like it. They said that it's destroying the balance of arena right now, because no matter how much you have invested in your team, having that 50% chance to go first, kind of makes it so RNG based that it didn't exactly matter that much, even if you had the correct skills, correct items and gear, right? Because if your enemy were to go first and had that speed advantage over you, you could probably have lost the whole match because of that. Okay, so that was something that many people are unhappy about. People have also left various opinions in the forum here. It makes it very difficult to play. 100% of my matches will go first basic attack, then 95% of my matches enemy will have the first skill. It doesn't seem random. And over here, I think I can't find a comment, but yeah. Basically, people are just not very happy. There are so many updates here. This new priority system is bad, adding more random factor in an already RNG based mode. Okay, this new system was introduced by DevK for competitive and top rank knights to lower the stress of using rubies playing non-stop because the win rates were very high. So this player is actually curious about the opinion of the top players of this new system. Okay, but for me, a casual player, I feel more stressed, punished every time playing arena now. Using skill first is far more impactful than speed attack in the first turn, and enemies and opponents usually get first skill. Somehow, this is in agreement with the previous post, as you saw, that many people realized that enemies were using their skills first. But I mean, he's right, because even until last week, okay, if you don't use a skill first, whereby your enemy actually uses maybe a buff duration reduction skill first or a debuff cleansing skill first and gets rid of the buff block immediately, you are kind of at a disadvantage. Unlike the older system whereby you are guaranteed, to land the buff duration reduction first on them, you are guaranteed to probably use a skill first. And if you are lucky and your speed leader actually has a debuff, they can actually incapacitate or destroy or cast death on the enemy team and just really kill off a few heroes even before the match properly starts. So these were some things that were 50-50 throughout this entire 10 months since the system changed. So yeah, just more comments. I guess you can read all this on the forum because I actually went to dig them out to give people an idea of what actually changed. Okay, because I know there were new players that entered the arena during that time, this period of 10 months. It's very long, to be honest. Sorry, 8 months, not 10 months. This period of 8 months, and probably gotten used to the system already. But for older players, maybe we have also gotten used to the system. We know that there's been a lot of debate and discussion that arena has been very difficult over time. Especially in the past 2-3 months, right? And yeah, as you can see, a lot of losses for sure because you don't have the speed advantage, so your win rate will drop, right? And even I made a comment about this, made a fairly long post. Okay, mainly the main thing is here. Again, I stress that making everything random was not the way to go because you're really adding more RNG and you're making players lose the amount of control that they have over their teams, over their heroes, which is not really the situation that you want players to be in, right? And I was saying that you can adopt something that the Korea server has been doing all this while, which is to let players choose whether they want to go with first basic attack or first skill use. And whichever that you choose, which means you have the control and power to choose, your opponent will then get the other option. So that makes it at least, you can still strategize with your team. So if you want to go with a dev team, of course you will choose for first basic attack. But if you're going with any other team, maybe you want to go with first skill use chance because then your Rudy will be able to guarantee a first skill use chance while the enemy will probably use his first basic attack, which means in that case situation, you can craft your team such that you are kind of more resistant towards certain debuffs in case your Rudy, gets debuffed and cannot go with the first skill. And I think, yeah, this will really allow more control and more thinking, okay, when players actually build their teams, think about the traits they want to have on certain heroes and all that kind of thing, right? So that was something that was proposed, but still, there was no intention of implementing that, even though it's already existing in the career server. So let us go back to the game. So as you can see here, it's incredibly high compared to what we had before. And in my guild chat, there were players, my guild mates were really happy about making it to Supreme. So yeah, I mean, some players are of course happy with the change, right? Because with the first speed guaranteed and first skill priority guaranteed, you are going to definitely have better win rate across the board. You can ignore my win rate because I actually did like 100 battles with 88 speed. Yeah, call me dumb. So my win rate is very not reflective of my team's capability. But what I'm saying is basically win rates have gone up, as you can see, across the board. Everyone should have a higher win rate right now. But the problem that top players actually have with the current system is that obviously it is going to make it very difficult for them to sustain their rank, right? And you have to realize one thing. The top players are the ones that actually do spend money in the game, am I right? So when this affects them so much, it is going to be harder for them to continue playing. Okay, that's one thing. And basically I also want to show you guys what VSkill, who has managed to get champion a few times. Okay, I've been in contact with him, so he was actually the one that pointed this out to me and made me see things from a different perspective. Okay, so I just wanted to share this entire video and point of view with you guys as well. You will see that his win rate is 91%, which is true to what Dev Kagura said way back in February, right? He said that the top players have very high win rates. Okay, so 91%. He has played this amount of matches and got 14,000, placing him at rank 56 at the point where he sent me this screenshot, of course. 14,000 is about 10,000 or 13 or 9,000 away from the champion. You realize that this is going to be an extremely crazy climb for anyone that wants to make it to the top 50 right now. So it truly has become a game of spending rubies only, and you have to do arena 24/7 if you really want to hit the high ranks. Obviously this is not going to be possible for many players, right? Many players are still doing their farming, are still getting resources to build their teams and equipment. But even if you do have everything properly set, your chances of getting into the top 100 of top 50 for legend icon, it is extremely difficult. So that is why I feel that even though this is a issue that maybe only the top 200 players will face in this entire game, okay, maybe this is a top 200 or top 500 player problem, but ultimately it will affect and trickle down all the way to every single player who is playing. Because if you look at the win rate here, if you look at the rank here, and you look at your own arena score, you won't feel the urge to want to push. You won't feel the desire to, okay, I think I can do this. I think if I just leave my arena one night, overnight, just to run it, maybe I can hit something. That was the case back then when I was trying to push for my own arena ranks. But I can't do that now because I'm not going to spend 20,000 rubies just to climb 20,000 points, right? I mean, that is crazy. So that is one thing. And the next thing is, you will realize that dev teams I'm not shaming anyone using a dev team right now, but I'm just trying to point out that dev teams have obviously a very, very clear advantage. Sorry to again, right? Yeah, we do have magic teams as well, of course, but I don't know if these magic teams are equipped with dev accessory or not, because it's very likely, but it's very easy for dev teams to just kill you off, right, and climb. And as you know, if you have been watching my streams, you know how much I feel that dev teams are pretty no-brainer, right? You just have to set the right gear, which means crafting your dev gear for all 5 heroes on the team, and you pretty much have a dev team, especially now with Chip. Chip has, wow, just shot out of nowhere and became part of the dev team, and Gideon has really increased the utility and usability of the dev team a lot more than previously when everyone was still running Eileen, which means that the casting of dev is much higher right now, and with a speed priority, you know how that is, right? We all have experienced dev teams before and we know how ridiculous it is, right? I mean, for defense wise, dev teams won't be that good, but it's still possible that if you don't run dev resist or something, they can still kill you even if they're on defense. So that's the thing, people are abusing the dev teams, in fact, and there's gonna be lesser variety of team builds unless I don't know what they can come up with. So the thing about having dev teams very commonly in Arena is that, you know, it doesn't really matter how much you have farmed for your gear, right? Because they are gonna just kill you. Even if you have the best stem set, even if you have the best max polish, level 2 polish gear, and you don't have death resist, you will die, no matter what. Gerard can straight up kill you in one shot, right? Even if you have death resist, there is still a very slight chance that you will die as well, because the way they reduce your resistance is pretty high. So it's very easy to climb with the dev team right now. I'm sure some of you who have tried it will know, okay? So yeah, there are just these things that are affecting the game right now, especially the top players. And I think there's also one thing that will affect you as a player if you are trying to even clear this. Road to Glory, we know that we need to fight this. We need to get this, and we need to, I think, win 500 times in Legend, which is, I mean, this is going to be insanely difficult, to be honest, right now, unless you can make it all the way to Legend very early, okay? So that is pretty much the only way you can do this. But if you delay any more than maybe Sunday or Monday, there's no way you can do this. So I mean, it kind of forces players to play differently and adjust their schedules around Arena right now. So that is one thing that will affect. And the other thing is, I mean, looking at the top 500. Basically, if I were to go to the top 500, you will see that below the 200 mark, I think, I feel that, like, I'm not exactly sure how difficult right now it is to get to Supreme, because everyone is climbing. So I would think that getting to Supreme 3 could still be achievable for most players who have been constantly progressing, right? Because it's still only at 5,000. But take note that over time, this amount could also go up. Compared to what we have in the front and here, that's a very big gap. We're talking about 10,000 gap. Okay, so the fight to maintain at Supreme is going to stress you even more, to be honest, over time. Because if you want to keep at Supreme, you have to push. You have to keep pushing right now. I mean, the same can be said for before, like you still have to push, but because it is easier for everyone to push now, it will be harder for you to maintain. Do you get what I mean? I hope you get what I mean. Yeah, I hope you see why this also affects even players who are just trying to maintain at Supreme. And one thing that, you know, directly affects is all the rewards that you are getting, because you have to put in more resources to get more resources, which doesn't really make sense in that case, because at this point we don't know how much we need to actually push for Supreme. I don't know many of these players, so I can't say for sure. Buy 7k. I can't say for sure how much these players have pushed. I have barely only fought 200 matches myself, right? And I'm only still in Grand. So I can imagine that getting to 4-6, which is literally almost 900 points away, is gonna be a huge climb for me, right? Yeah, so all that said, what is a good solution? So let us go back to the forum, because this is what VSkill actually told me about. So this is a post made by TL Psychopath, which is the leader of TL, okay? And I think there's one point which he says, which I really deeply agree with. Okay, so this point. He feels that bringing back the old arena system is obviously causing problems for people that are trying to push at the top tier, okay? Which obviously affects Netmarble, because these players are the ones that really have put in the effort all this while, put in the money all this while to support the game, right? And to play the game, to enjoy the game. So the proposed plan that he has is to split the arena system into two phases, which is gonna be below 5,000, which is below Supreme, technically, okay? Technically not even Supreme, it's kind of like Grand 1, I would say, yeah. Grand 1, I think Grand 1, okay? So below Grand 1, it will be the first strike, which is first basic attack and first skill system, which is what we are having now, the old system, okay, the reverted system. But above that, it should be an open skill, which means should be random, which is the old system which was gone, right? It's very confusing to say old and new now. Basically the previous system, okay? The previous system that they just changed. Having these two systems in place will create the satisfaction for players at all levels, because if you were to realize what I asked on my channel previously, do you like that Arena has reverted the speed skill priority system? Out of 274 votes, 86% people, okay, of the players who have voted here said yes. 86% is a huge and very high percentage of people who are enjoying the arena system. Okay, and this 14%, I don't exactly know what is your thoughts about it. Okay, maybe you can share them in the post. But like I said, even though this is a problem that top players will face, you know, it will affect somewhat. It will affect every player somewhat, unless you are a super casual player that really doesn't care about climbing in ranks, doesn't care about trying to progress and not trying to, you know, take progress too highly in the game, right? Or you're not trying to even push for supreme rank, then okay, fine. The system obviously will benefit you, which is why he feels that there should be two systems, because there are players that actually enjoy the random speed. Like, you could actually strategize for various gameplays, apart from spamming rubies, apart from using Rudy, and definitely nerfs dev teams abusing the entire system. So in that case, it will satisfy all players, really, right? The 86% who are comfortable in Grand can stay in Grand once they hit that, which is gonna be pretty easy once you have built out everything. But the ones that want to push can still do that without having to spend a ridiculous amount of rubies trying to get to that rank that they want. So I think this is a very fair suggestion. Okay, instead of having to worry about just spamming rubies, you can actually think about your heroes and teams. These are some of the thoughts that have been going around in the community for over the past week, and I think it is valid for sure, because it affects people, right? So it is valid, but many people may not see it that way, so that is why this video is here to shed light on this particular issue. So let me know what you think of this entire debate and discussion about the arena system revert. And of course, thank you to VSkill for sharing with me his thoughts and letting me in on this discussion as well. And of course, big shout out to my channel members Yamli, Phoenix, Yamaki, Hajime, and Reggie Bautista for the support. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much and see you!